What's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. I apologize that I haven't been able to make many videos, and for the time being, I don't think that I'm going to be making a whole bunch of videos. So, what I've decided to do to help you out, because I know that a lot of you depend on the information that I bring you to help you get out of debt and fix your credit. And I want to go over what is working right now, what is getting the best results for our clients right now. Uh, and thank you to the over 300 new clients that we have brought on over the last couple of weeks. Um, what is the number one thing that had to happen during what we're experiencing with COVID is that the credit reporting agencies have gotten an extension, and it looks like they've taken well advantage of the extension that they have. Sorry, I was looking up at my cameras here. Taking full advantage of the extensions that they have on during the processing. Now, let me just tell you how things are working right now. Uh, well, let me tell you how normally they would work. If you're trying to dispute your credit, you would send letters in the mail, and then that information would get received by the credit reporting agencies, and then they would either put it in one pile that they're going to either say that this is something that they're not going to investigate, and that's why you would get a response back that says verified, or they would go through the full investigation process and it would get looked at and some type of decision would come back on it, a real decision, not uh, that automatic verified decision. And some of the people would complain about, and I'm not going to go into a lot about that because I want to just mainly tell you about the process and what we've done to get better results for our customers. But what they would normally do is, well, what normally would happen is that some of the times, even if you have a legitimate dispute with the item, it would get put into the wrong pile. We've seen lawsuits and all types of settlements that have been given by these credit reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, for simply not correcting information that should have been corrected. And I say it's because they're dealing with millions of documents on a daily basis, millions of documents. Now, let's back up to what's going on with this national COVID-19 emergency is that they got a waiver, and that waiver extended 60 days for them to process any investigations that you have for any thing that you want to dispute on your credit. If I'm doing it or you're doing it yourself. But what people did not think about was that there is a time period for getting it to them in the mail, and we saw what was going on with the mail. I had just 2 weeks ago, I sent out a letter to an insurance company that is just one city away from where I'm at now, and it took them 2 weeks. They got it yesterday. I sent it last Monday, not the Monday that just passed, the Monday before, and they just got it yesterday. Because I was thinking my company's unemployment insurance was going to lapse if they did not have that payment by today. So there, if you sent it in the mail because of what was happening, and I'm not going to speak too much on that, but there's delays in the mail. So you have that period of time. Then you had a period of time that they actually have to open up and get that mail to their processing department. So each bureau, when they got the mail, they did. People think that once they got it, the 60 days started from there. No, they were allotted time to actually open up the mail and get it into their processing departments. And because they're working under COVID restrictions, they are you it they don't have people in there like the way they used to. So there's another legitimate delay. And then you have the 60 days that they're taking to do the processing. And if they decide to do a real investigation and send it to a company to do that investigation, one of your charge offs or creditors that you believe is being reported inaccurate, they have the opportunity to delay because they're under COVID restrictions. So what this does, it makes a big, huge ball of frustration for companies like mine and for customers, people. If you're doing it yourself, it just makes for more frustration. So what I had did, and we started doing this early, I would say somewhere around not January, somewhere around June, July. I said that we're going to have to do this from a two-prong approach on trying to get things done. And this was actually how I found out that even companies had an extension due to COVID restrictions, because what we did is we started submitting what's called debt validations disputes directly to the furnishers that were charge offs or collections on people's credit reports. We did not just leave that to go through the bureaus. What our old process used to be, let's go through the bureaus first, get an opportunity to correct it with the appropriate investigation, and then if that didn't happen, we would start going at it from the other end with the furnishers. Well, we started doing that process from the beginning now with the furnishers, and we are getting excellent results from people where they were the debt was being either forgiven, or they were saying that they were just not going to go and collect after it anymore. uh, but also what it does when you do a debt validation is that there is a potential to speed up the process of having to deal with that debt, and that's what a lot of people are not ready, or they're not ready to face that fact. And we always tell our customers, and you should be aware of this too if you do a debt validation, that if this debt comes back validated, that you will have to go into a settlement phase to deal with that debt, or you will not finish your credit repair process. That's where you will fail at your credit repair process. When anyone doesn't want to resolve a debt that is validated, which is part of the whole credit repair, credit reporting act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, that both of those state that if that is found to be validated, verified, they call it a verification process, you have to come to some resolution. And if you don't, then you are failing yourself. You are making it to where it is impossible to finish your credit repair process. Well, but we've been getting excellent results. We just got another one just the other day where then they decided to put a 5-star review. We never used to ask people to put reviews, but now we're starting to tell people put reviews on there. But we did the debt validation. The company did respond. It took 3 debt validations to get this whole thing resolved, and it was resolved where they are not coming after this individual for the debt. Now, you might be saying right now, okay, Steve, how do I do this debt validation? What do I need? Well, I give you a free document. All you have to do is go to the resource links below this video. But it doesn't just stop there, and that's where I want to educate you on something else. And I'm going to use an analogy for it. My wife just had a double lung transplant last month. She is doing great, but there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of things that she is going through for her recovery. And she made a statement the other day, and she said that I wish I would have knew everything. I wish I would have knew everything about this. And I said to her, in an understanding matter, because we all say this about different things, but I became of the understanding that sometimes if a person tells you something and you don't experience that, then you blame that individual for you not having that experience, but having another experience. When we sat down with her doctors for the transplant. And I'm telling, and follow me because this has a lot to do with you finishing up on your credit and debt process. Stories like these will help you because it helps you relate. When we sat down with the doctor this week, we had to go to appointments, almost every other day, every week for a while. And he said something that I told her you got to pay attention to what he said. He said that now against you're in the fight against the drugs that they have to give you to keep you going. She takes over 48 drugs uh, per day, 24 in the morning, 24 at night, to keep the lungs and just different things working right and keep the rejection from happening because the body knows these are not the lungs you were born with, so it'll try to reject them. So, long story short, though, is he said that you're in a fight, and she wanted to know, well, what type of fight, and he tried to answer, and I kept quiet, and I was thinking to myself, he should not answer that fully. He should just say some of the things that you might have to go through because you don't want to plant things in people's mind, number one, and they start to look for that problem. And then number two, everybody's body is different. My wife had a full where they opened her up straight across, all the way straight across, lifted up her ribs and took out her lungs. And do you know that she does not have any like pain from the scarring? None. And there's other people that have pain from the scarring. There's other people that focus on that pain. And so now to wrap this back around for when it comes to you and your credit and your debt, is that when you do this debt validation, I don't want you to think that this debt validation is like the end all to be all types of things. What I want you to understand about this debt validation is that the debt validation is to open up doors for you to see what answers or what responses they're going to give you and what ways you're going to reply to them to continue the fight against, if it's a charge off or if it's a debt that's they're coming after you for, how are you going to continue to get to the resolution? Some resolutions are going to be where they just stop at the beginning. Some resolutions may have to be responded to 2 or 3 times. For this customer that just did the 5-star review, we did 3 responses. The first response, they just in a way tried to blow it off. Second response, they answered a little bit, and I told my staff, the individual that was handling that account, respond back again and just make a change in there, a slight change, because they are not truly answering that debt validation. And then third time was a charm. They ended up saying that they're not going to continue the collection on that debt and that everything was over. And this has happened when we've done debt validations for people that have just gotten a letter from a creditor, right? Just the first letter, the 30-day letter. And this has also happened when we've taken initiative to do the debt validation for stuff that is sitting on the credit reports. And this is stuff that has been way past the 30-day process. But to be clear, to be 100% upfront with you, potentially that customer could have potentially had that debt 100% verified, validated, and it could have had to go into a settlement phase. And if that customer was not prepared to want to go through that settlement phase, that same success could end up being a failure. And that's like the point of this entire video. That's the point of the story. The same thing that the doctor had went through with my wife, and it's the same thing that I'm trying to give you a relation to when you're going through your credit repair and debt process, is that it's going to be a process, and no one, not me, not anyone, no attorney, no judge, no one can tell you exactly every stage of your process for your credit repair. There's just a template, but every individual's situation is different. So what I want you to do, if you need to do this stuff on your own, is you have two choices. One, well, you have several choices, but these are my choices. You get the debt validation letter for free. Get that. Or what you could do is you can get with my membership program. It's only $19.99 per month. I have videos and I walk you through credit repair and debt uh, validation process. I give you the documents on those. Or you can have my company do it for you. Those are your three choices with us. But what you need to understand is that it is a process. Don't come into thinking that things are have to happen the way that you might have it in your mind, the way that you might have this imaginary um, uh, you know thought process. You need to understand that there's inner thought, which is what you control, and then there's outer things that are happening, which is what we're all going through with this virus. And that no matter what you do, what you say, who you send it, what, it does not matter. It is going to be a process where you do your side that you can control. And then when it gets into the hands of other companies, they're going to go through their processes. And then there's a back and forth fight to get things done. So I'll end the video here. And the way that I'm going to be proceeding is I'm going to be making videos. I'm going to just talk about the results that we get for people, and uh, and then just go into what I believe you need to do. I'm going to try to shorten up the videos so we can get to it. I'm going to give you some lessons about your thought process on what you need to do, and then I'm going to give you your homework on what you need to do, and I'm going to give you your solutions on what you need to do if you want to work for us or do it yourself. All right, this is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. Thank you, and until next time.